This is a test to make sure that everything is working because it's been a minute since I filmed. Sup nerds, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie. If you're new here, I hope your day is going well. And yes, it's been a minute again. I am sorry. There was an existential crisis, some car problems, some injuries, some sicknesses, and in general, dealing with the fact that I work a 40-hour work week in the corporate world, plus trying to do a very intensive social media gig is exhausting. But I am back on it, and I have ideas about the way things are going to go on this channel. I will be doing things a lot differently, but we're just going to go ahead and dig right into this video right now. It's going to be a quicker one. I haven't scripted it literally at all. I just wanted to discuss something that currently has been going around on Threads as well as Instagram and TikTok. And I just think that's going to be a lot more of what I do on this channel. Some sit down videos where I chat about what's going on in the community, because I think that you guys A, like that, and B, I have thoughts to express, and sometimes I just get too mired in those thoughts and want to make this videos like so perfect for you guys. And considering the fact that other people release things with literally no thought process, even an iota of care put into things, I think I can probably just sit down and have a chat with you, because that's the thing that I like doing. I like having chats with you guys. I am working on the next part 2 of the Split or Swallow rant review that will be coming soon. The biggest thing that will be changing most likely in the future that you guys can know about now is that on Patreon, I will have unfiltered, uncensored videos, as well as I think I will be starting YouTube memberships. So if those are live, please check them out down below. It is going to help small creators like myself immensely if you support us. And I know that that's something that is not really comfortable for me to say, but like, it's just true. So just know that there is going to be an alternate version of this video where potentially you get some extra content and you also get to see me swear, because I will probably not be doing that in these public videos anymore. I do want to be clear, especially considering the trigger warnings that I put at the beginning of this video. This video is going to be pretty intense. I'm not going to read off the quotes that I found. I will just be giving you the general gist of what has occurred. So Tori Woods wrote a book called Daddy's Little Toy. First and foremost, yes, everything that you think is going to happen is about to happen. And this book is about a girl who ends up falling for her father's best friend. And the man knew her since she was a toddler and had thoughts about her as a toddler. And when this started coming under fire, the author wrote a Instagram post about how she never anticipated this would be the impression that people had of this book. And I have to ask, why did you not think people would have that reaction? Why would you not assume that? And the reason has to be, it has to be because dark romance has become so problematic, and the fans of dark romance specifically have become so galvanized in protecting this genre and protecting the taboo aspect of it, that actual pedophilia is becoming more and more rampant. And all sorts of things. Now, I did see a TikTok from a creator that said that this isn't dark romance because there's 2 different types of dark romance, where there's dark romance where this stuff happens, and then there's dark romance where they're like unabashedly thirsting after a real serial killer. Those dark romance fans aren't real dark romance fans. That's a completely other genre. But they couldn't say what other genre it was. And I'm just getting the sense that we're not really understanding that dark romance is infiltrated with a lot of incredibly toxic ideals out of the need for catharsis. And I have no answer regarding why this is such a popular point, but that is why dark romance is allowed to do this, because, oh, well, it's cathartic for people that have gone through this. Now, I don't know about you, but this cover and the contents of it doesn't feel cathartic to me for someone who may have been SA'd as a 3-year-old. That just, I'm not a trauma specialist. I don't have the qualifications to speak on that. And I probably even shouldn't be putting it in this video. But I just feel like that argument is not working anymore. Let's go over at least the first paragraph of the author's response, apology, because it also sheds light on other aspects of this genre and how, even though these are real world problems, it's not being taken seriously. Hi everyone, I think there's been a huge misunderstanding. What could possibly be misunderstood, Tori? DLT is definitely not promoting or inciting anything ever to do with CSA or pedophilia. What is being said is grossly disturbing and breaks my heart, as well as makes me sick. DLT is fictional and meant to represent the DD/LG world. I understand where I went wrong, and that is why I removed it from Amazon this morning. What happened between these characters? Yes, started at a young age. No. Censored the word intercourse. Interesting. Happened while she was young. Yes, there were thoughts, and I can see how that is frowned upon. Nothing happened like that until she was of age. I know nothing that I say is going to change or fix what I've written. Rest of the post goes on to protect the people that helped her with the book, which I understand. I do find it interesting that you released this book after not providing these 3 other people with the full context of the story. And that just feels even more icky because they were pulled into this muck with you. And I almost feel like you knew going into this that there was a problem and you just didn't. So the thing about dark romance is there is that catharsis argument as well as it's fictional, but it's not fictional. This type of happens to people and you are putting it in a romance novel. And a romance as a genre has a convention. It's called Happily Ever After. Most of us have heard of it. As most people understand, if you read a romance book, the end of the story has those 2 characters getting together. So you're telling me a person who had sexual thoughts for a toddler is then going to end up with that person. And I don't know how you can assume that because this is fantastical in nature and it's supposed to be about the daddy kink, most likely, that this is acceptable, because the thing about kink is that it is only okay if everyone is of consenting age. It is not supposed to be about actual children. And that's where, once again, I come back to this concept of people co-opting kink and not understanding what it means, or very clearly not actually being into the kink. And I'm sorry if you included something like this in your work. I have deep concerns about what you think that kink is. And I just am getting to the point where I have started looking into doing a video specifically on how dark romance especially seems to be pushing very strong narratives about gender roles and about abuse and about romanticization of a lot of really dark and disturbing things. The thing about dark romance that I've kind of encountered now is the fact that the fans have become so rabid when you make any kind of critique of this genre. And I just don't get it. It's a genre that has taboo things. And obviously this is kind of a separate example because a lot of this genre gets away with blurred lines. As I saw another thread user saying that another author is been pulling their book because of this apparently almost same situation. But the thing about dark romance is that it's always 9 times out of 10 about like a fresh 18-year-old and people who have known them since they were children. Like, it is a consistent problem in this genre, not necessarily with a toddler. That is definitely, you should have known better, ma'am. It's just this constant thing where if you critique this genre, people get so upset over it. And I'm wondering if it's becoming more of a mindset that is closer to red pill. I read Men Who Hate Women, and there is a lot of this indoctrination for men who have just no understanding of outside of their worldview anymore, and they have all of these really toxic mindsets pushed on them by people who know better. And I just feel like that's where we're going with dark romance and this whole trad wife and just books aren't political. Like this is a political statement you have made, and I don't know how else to tell you that clearly you don't care about children's protection. I am quite concerned about where this genre is going, and I don't like reading it. I very clearly have had struggles with making videos about dark romance books for you guys over the past year. I read the whole Peter Pan fucking Lost Boy shit, and I hated it. It was not good. It was written terribly, and it was about grown men essaying a like barely legal teenager. And I can tell you right now, if there was some kind of age of consent law that she could have gotten around, I'm sure that that character would have been younger. But there is just going to have to be a breaking point where instead of going, book talk was summoned, we have to go, no, this isn't okay anymore. This isn't cathartic. Where is the research showing me that dark romance is cathartic for survivors? Because I genuinely don't feel like that's the case anymore. And I feel like that's a scapegoat for people to read incredibly disturbing fiction without any triggers, bear in mind, and any kind of protection. And that the authors are profiting off of pain. Like I'm genuinely concerned that it's fictional. It's also a defense. And what are your thoughts on this? Where do you think the dark romance genre will be going nowadays? Are we going to see more crackdown on this considering the current administration? Or are we going to see more and more people going, no, it's fine? Because I have a feeling, especially considering the previous Call Me Chris drama, where she went in on y'all's favorite dark romance books, but you guys had a completely different reaction to her, despite the fact that she was completely in the right personally. But this is where we're at. Like, what is the ending point for this genre? And I do plan on doing more research and really digging into this mindset of the catharsis, because I am not an expert on it, and I don't want to say that I am, but I just haven't seen actual psychological studies that show that indie publishing books about taboo relationships in ways that are clearly not educated and clearly not safe is actually cathartic for people. Like I am genuinely wondering if there is anyone out there that could maybe assist me with finding some topics on this, because I have so many questions and I have so many concerns, and I want to be clear. I understand that a book is fictional. I do get that. But when you read content where taboo is normalized and the taboo isn't like, oh, my step sibling, like it's a fully grown adult lusting after a toddler. Like, how did you write that down and not think to yourself, no, we shouldn't do this. This shouldn't go on my name. And obviously there's a whole other drama about what her actual name is or anything. I'm not going into that. That's not what the video is about. This is kind of just a meandering video to get me back into comfortable to filming videos again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's going to be very brief, and I would like to get into more videos where we're not discussing really, really dark topics soon. But once again, I understand that there are some dark romances that can be freeing and things, but I just feel like there is a disconnect on the fact that if your romance book romanticizes the abuser, how is that better than the abuse itself? I don't know where I'm going with that anymore. I am going to go ahead and caffeinate more. It's very early if you can't tell. And I will see you guys in the next one. Once again, check out the Patreon and YouTube memberships. I'm going to go now, guys. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye.